called copy. I mean, I can copy. People simply say the copy, shallow copy. Both are the same. Okay, either you can say just simply copy or shallow copy. Both are same. Versus deep copy. So what is this shallow copy means? So for example, I have a list. So list of, let us say, list 4. I can say list 4. This is my list 4. Okay, which are having some. These are my elements. So let me copy the same code here. So let me copy. Where is the code? Yeah, this is my code. I'm just going to copy the same code here. And list 4 is created like this. Let me just take some examples. So here I am removing because I don't want to have the major data. Or a simple data I'm just going to say. So this is my list 4. List 4 contains how many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements. Okay. So now these are my elements. Where is my elements? Yeah, these are my elements: count, name, ranks, ranges, and details. And I'm referring all those variables here. So important thing, when I say list4 dot copy, list4 dot copy, what will happen? Understand this very carefully. It's like normal, simple, shallow copy, I can say. Copy, that is a very copy method I'm using it to copy the list4. And this is nothing but a shallow copy. Okay. So what will happen here is, how many elements are there in the list4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, each and every variable is also having some information here. So the false is the very first element that will be copied, that is going to create a new list, maybe result list, res list, printing the res list. So now what we know, yes, the copy means whatever are the elements are there in the list4, that will be copied simply to the res list. Okay, so now if I just print the res list, rest is also going to get the same to same output of what the list4 is containing. The same to same. There is no difference at all. That is how the copy. But internally what happens? The logic also you need to understand, because there is some differences in the behavior of the copy. So let us see. Whatever is the first element of the list4, it's a simple Boolean element called false, right? So that will be called copied here. Means there is one Boolean element false here. There is one more Boolean element called false here. So these are the two Boolean elements. It's copying the first element. It's not referring the same Boolean element present in the list4. It's copying the false in object from the list4 to, it's creating new copy of the false object. And the new copy of the false object is present in the first element of the rest list. You understand this sentence? Copy means it is going to copy element by element, element by element. So it's going, now the count is a new element, that is the element of the first element of the list4. It creates a new copy of the false object, and the new copy of the false object is present as a first element of the rest list. Is the statement clear, everyone? Anyone have any questions? Please understand how the shallow copy, deep copy are going to work. This is all the behavior of the shallow copy I'm explaining now. So now what is the second element? Second element is a count. So since a count, what is the type of the count variable? 34. 34 is the immutable object. What we said means, when you are creating a count list4 is having the second element. So where Python is going to create one more copy of the 34 object and stores it here. Means this is 134 object, this is under 34 object. Now the list4 second element is 34. So Python is going to, 34 or 44. Yeah, sorry, I think it's a count. 1 minute. Well, let me execute this. Yeah, 34. Okay. So list4 is a 34, and 34 is also getting copied here. So means so that is what is coming here. So this is list4 second element is 34. When we are copying it, list4 dot copy means the same 34 will be copied. One more 34 is getting created here. It's a copy of the 34. One more 34 is getting created and just mentioned here. Clear? Anyone have any questions so far? I'm going to explain one element by element. Now, what is the next element of the list4? Next element of the list4 is Mahesh. That is nothing but name. Since it's a name is a variable which is storing the Mahesh string is a immutable object. So when we are referring the immutable variables, what will happen? So Python is not going to refer the third element of the list 1, list 3, list 4 directly to this element. Python is going to create one more string object called Mahesh, and that newly created string object is going to store as the third element of the list 4. That's what we discussed. Now during the copy, what will happen? Python is again going to create one more copy of this string object. So now this is one string object, this is one string object, and this is one string. Three string objects are there which are having the same name called Mahesh. Agree? Agree so far? Anyone have any confusions? Is it like something more complicating? But this is how the copy is going to work. Okay. Again, the ranks. Now the ranks is one of the tuple object. Of course, this is a immutable object ranks, and since it's immutable object, Python is going to create one more copy of this tuple here and stores the one more new tuple object as a fourth element of the list 4. And I'm such a list I'm copying here. So now Python is going to create one more list of the tuple 2, 7, 22 and stores as a fourth element of the rest list. Agree? And now ranges, same copy. So now 3, 22, 77. So now Python is going to create, so 3, 7, so there is like when you during creation of the list 4, ranges is a mutable object. So Python is not going to create one more copy here. The fifth element of the list 4 is directly referring to the ranges variable here. Whatever is already referred by the ranges variable. Agree? That's what we discussed. References of mutable objects. This is the references of immutable objects. These are the references of mutable objects. Agree? Agree? So here in the copy, what will happen? That is the main difference we need to understand. So we generally think Python is going to create one more copy of the set variable, set data like 322, 77 and creates a new set here. That is what generally we think. No, but that is not going to happen. See here, ranges are the basically one more variable. We are just going to have the same variable here also. We're just going to copy the same variable. Copying the same variable means I am copying the reference. So now what this means is this is going to create something like this, a list of, you just understand the difference. So rather than this, I can say this is just a ranges, copying the variable itself is also copying the details itself. You understand the difference? So these values are just copying the values because they are like as the immutable. This is just a simple of objects. Count is a 34, not a count variable. This is like 34 object because already mentioned when I say referring the immutable type, it is going to create a copy and that copy will be saved here, not a variable actually. Okay. So now since these are all the elements up to here and these are the variables of immutable variables. So Python is going to have the data something like this. So now what is the value of ranges? The value of ranges is 3, 77, 22, 22, 77. Yes. What is the value of details variable? Details variable is having a dictionary containing two variables. Agree? In this situation, when I say res, yeah, someone has a question. Yeah.
I think like if we try to change the range values back in the before cell, are values going to be changed here?
Before cell of 27 cell?
No, the one above 26. The way we have
Okay, this one.
the values. Yeah, if we change this value, so here are these values going to be changed?
Yes, yes. That's what I'm going to now actually explain that. Okay. So far I just made a copy. Now after this, I'm just going to change the values of the ranges. Ranges.add. I'm adding a new element, let us say. Adding of, let us say, 33. Now what is my new ranges? So there is a variable called ranges, which is storing a set, and set is having two elements only. Now I am adding the fourth element to the set. Now my ranges is having four elements, 2, 3, 22, 33, and 77. Agree? Now let us see what is the value of the list 4. So now anyone guess, because this is like normal simple references. As per the list 4, what is my 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth element of my list 4? Is it like same as 322, 77 or 322, 33, 77?
322, 33, 77.
So therefore, because it's a reference of what is this? This is a reference of the mutable object. What is the reference of the mutable object? What will happen? It is not, it is directly this, the fifth element of the list 4 is directly referring to or pointing to this list object, whatever is already pointed by the ranges variable. Agree? That's what we discussed. So for such a variable data, I just change it to add a new element. Now the list 4 is also now changed. See 33, 22, 33, 77. Now what about the rest list? Rest list. So already rest, see here, rest list also going to be, it's going to copy the variable. It's not going to copy the data. It is not going, it's going to copy the variable itself. Whatever is the variable there, the same variable is also getting copied here. Clear? And now let us say at this point of time, so details is my dictionary. Details of, let us say, I'm going to add a new element, checks and status is equal to completed. So now this is my details having 3 elements, first element, second element, a new element called completed. Now the list 4. So what should be the values of the list 4 now? What is the last element of the list 4? Last element of list 4 is a dictionary containing 2 elements or 3 elements.
3 elements.
3 elements.
2 elements, because it's a list 4, when I'm creating the list 4, I use the details, a variable referred here. This variable is storing a mutable data. So means the last element of the list 4 is directly pointing to the same list object, whatever is already pointed by the details variable. Agree? So if that is my situation, what are the changes I am making the list details variable? The same change is also happening in the last element of the list 4 also. This is my last element of the list 4. See here, 3 elements are there in the last element of the list 4. Agree? And now what is the rest list? Rest list, what is the elements, last element of the rest list? Is it like 2 elements, a dictionary containing 2 elements or 3 elements?
3 elements.
3 elements, because I am copying the variable here. I am not copying the data here from this list to this list. I am copying the variable here. Clear? See the element of having 4 elements, 3 elements. Clear? So this is a normal copy. So copy is always going to, or shallow copy is going to copy the elements of the list 4. It's not going inside each and every element. So means what is the element of the list 1? Sorry, list 4. These are my elements of the list 4. It is going to copy the first element, second element, third element, fourth element, fifth element is a variable. It is going to copy the variable. 16 also just copy the variable. That is, it is going to copy element by element only the direct elements. Direct elements of the list 4 will be copied. But the deep copy is going to work something different, a little bit different. It's the deep copy. Means we are going to copy element by element. Inside also it is going to travel. For example, this is my, again, the same data I'm going to take it. This is my data. And this is my list 4. So where is my list 4? Yeah, this is my list 4. Yeah, list 4. Yes, very good. So this means basically we are just going to say count is a 34 new integer object, Mahesh new string object, a new tuple object. And ranges or details are referred mutable objects. So ranges is nothing but a ranges variable here and details variable here. It's not a copies of the ranges variable, copies of the details variables. Agree so far? Is it clear? Since these are the 3 referred immutable objects, these are 3, so these are the 2 immutable, sorry, these are immutable referred variables and mutable referred variables. Correct? So when we are doing referring the immutable variables here, what will happen is going to create a new copies and store them. When you are referring to the immutable objects, it is going to refer to the same variables or same objects, whatever the variables are already being referred. Clear? That is the difference. We know this. So now I can say deep copy. So deep copy is not ready function available. There is a one module called copy. The module name itself is a copy. So in this module, there is a one method, one function called copy.deep copy. So copy is my module name, which contains a lot of methods, but deep copy is one of the function I'm using it. Okay. So now copy.deep copy. So what copy I need to make? For example, I want to make a copy of list 4. This is my deep, DC list. DC means deep copy. Okay, this is a DC list, the deep copy list. Okay. So now what will happen is deep copy. Understand the concept very carefully. This is my list 4. Okay. So now I can say, let's just go and print that for our discussion purpose. What happens is So this is my list for the false. The false element will be copied to here. It's going to create a new one more false object and stores it as the first element of the DC list. Correct? Again, count, name, ranks. These are the three referred variables, but these references are storing the immutable data. Agree? Immutable data, right? So then during the creation of the list 4 itself, what will happen? List 4 creation itself, it is going to create one more 34 object here and store it here. It is going to create one more string object and stores here. It is going to create one more tuple object, stores here. So now these are the direct objects. So name is count is equal to 34. 34 is just copying here. And name is Mahesh getting copied here as it is. And means it's copied here means it's creating a new 34 and copied here. It's going to create one more new Mahesh, copied here. It's going to create one more tuple, copied here. Agree? Is it clear so far? It's deep copy. Still here the deep copy same works as a simple normal copy, shallow copy. Now the differences are here. So now ranges or details are the two referred. Now coming to the list 4. During the creation of the list 4, there are two mutable references I just made here. What is the references? Set and the dictionary. So then what will happen? The fifth element of the list 4 is referring to or pointing to the same set object, whatever is already pointed by the ranges variable. Now means there is only one set object which is referred by the ranges variable, which is also referred by the fifth element of the list 4. Agree? Is that clear? That is what we already discussed. And again, the details, this one, so this dictionary is also referred by the details variable, also the last element of the list 4 variable, list 4 list. Agree? So now these are, so now deep copy, so the deep means what we're going to say, it is not going to copy the variables here. Okay? It is what it is. So we just go to the inside the variable. The deep copy is going to inside the variable. What is the data? Ranges. What is the date ranges? Ranges is nothing but that is one more. Let's say this ranges variable is pointing to the same set. What is the data present in it? 37722. Now it is going to create one more set object here in the deep copy set object. It is going to copy the each and every element of the set. So 3, it is going to create one more 3 here. It is going to create one more 77 here. It is going to create one more 22 object here. So it's a total copy of the data. Clear? Anyone have any questions so far? So it's not, deep copy is not going to copy the variables, it is going to copy the data. If this data also contain one more variable, and that also will be copied as a data, not as a variable. Going to n level copy, n level deep levels, it is going to go. Again, going to this dictionary right now, list 4, last element of the list 4 is pointing to the same dictionary, whatever is already pointed with the details variable. But now I am making the deep copy of the list 4. Deep copy means whatever the element is going to create an empty dictionary first and copy element by element here. So it's going to create one more element here, create a new copy of this element and stores as a new copy of the element here. And it's going to create one more new copy of this element and stores as a second element of the dictionary. So it's going to copy element by element up to the values, not the variables. Understand the deep copy? So in this case, what is the difference is, now I'm just going to change a ranges dot add. For example, I'm just going to add ranges 3722 set. I'm going to add, let us say, hello. And details of, let us say, I can say status is equal to work in progress, WIP. So this is my ranges. So this is my details. Now tell me, when just say print list 4, what is the list 4? The fifth element of the list 4 ranges. The last element of the list 4 is details. So what it is going to print? Is it going to print the set containing 3 elements or set containing the 4 elements of the list 4?
It contains
questions?
4
Yes.
elements.
4 elements, because how I am creating the list 4 is having 2 variables referred here and those variables are mutable data types. Agree? As long as they are mutable data types, Python is going to, so this, the fifth element of the list 4 is directly referring to the same set object, whatever is referred with the ranges variable. Now, this set object is having 2 references. One is a ranges, and there is the fifth element of my list 4. And similarly, this dictionary object is having 2 references now. One is details, one there is the last element of the list for. So now I am just changing this object using the ranges variables. So now the same is going to print the changes also. So it was 22, 377 are also going to print here. Clear? And now what is the details variable? Details, I just add the one more element, status WP, status WP also going to copy. But when I say DC underscore list, so what is the fifth element and sixth element of the DC list? Are they going to have the 4 elements and 3 elements in the dictionaries, or
No.
the previous values?
No, sir. It will have only 3 elements.
Yes. So now see here, the DC list still having the 3 elements of the set and still having the 2 elements of the dictionary. Because deep copy is always going to copy the element by element, or going to the inside the one more element, and copy the values only. It is never going to be copy the variables. You understand the difference between the deep copy and normal copy? Anyone have any questions? Deep copy, normal copy. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So actually, this is going to be more clear if you start writing the code. So listening is, maybe you might be having some 2 to 3% of confusion, maybe, but that 2 to 3% confusion also will go if you start writing the code. Okay.